houses through Monday morning. Certain it is that many died at home, suffocated by the black smoke. Until about midday, the Pool of London was an astonishing scene. Steamboats and shipping of all sorts lay there, tempted by the enormous sums of money offered by fugitives, and it is said that many who swam out to these vessels were thrust off.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daddy. Happy birthday to you. Well, I just got home after quite a long day. It's about like a quarter till 10 at night. So, yeah, so after work today, it's my dad's birthday today. So after work, I drove straight home. I live about an hour away from where my parents live. So I drove home right after work, and we surprised my sister, and I and her family surprised my dad for his birthday, and we had dinner and cake. So that was super fun. And I have officially read 7 books and completed all the challenges. So I'm super proud of myself, and I will just continue to read books and just add more on to what I'm reading for the reading rush. So a few things changed. Surprise, surprise. Kind of bad with TBRs. Like I said before, I'm a huge mood reader, so sometimes I'll start something and I just don't feel it, or I don't really want to read it, and then I kind of switch to something else. So that's kind of what happened today. Instead of reading a Shakespeare play or some poetry, or some folk tales, I decided to go for a genre that I don't hardly ever read at all, which is sci-fi. So I'm not a huge sci-fi fan, which is kind of interesting because some of my favorite movies are science fiction movies. So I'm not really sure what the difference is for me, why I don't really like science fiction books. Maybe it's the books that I'm trying to read. I don't know. But I decided that I would read a science fiction book today. So I read If Androids Dream, or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which I love that title, but clearly it's hard for me to say. But yeah, that was the book that the movie Blade Runner is based off of. So, I started that last night before I went to bed. I didn't get very far at all. Um, I just started listening to it as I was getting ready for bed. So, yeah, so I think I was like 10 minutes into it or something like that. I did not read for very long. So, yeah, but then I finished it at work today, and I enjoyed it. Um, I don't know, it's kind of a hard book to explain. Um, it was fine. It was interesting because I felt like I was following it really well and I kind of understood, but also at the same time I had no idea what was going on. So it was kind of weird in that way, and I think it was um because of the religious part of it, and I guess I wouldn't really call it religious. I didn't really kind of understand that whole part until the very end. Um so yeah, I don't know. They have um this emotion. It's like a box or something, and you hook yourself up to it, and you get connected to all of everyone who is actually connected to their box at the same time, and you get to share your emotions. But you also see this person in there, and it was kind of confusing a couple of the times that they did it, because they would go into this and they would see this guy, and then they would get pelted with rocks, and they would come out of the box and they had actually been hit, so like they would come out of it and they were bleeding from wherever they were hit with rocks. And then after a while, I kind of realized that that's almost like their religion. Like, the guy that's in there is the guy that kind of created this whole world they're kind of living in, with androids and artificial life and all of these different kinds of things. So I think they kind of pray to him or whatever, which was kind of a weird part of the book. And it wasn't like they're all like worshiping and praying to him and stuff like that, but it's kind of their spirituality. So it was kind of interesting. And I don't know. I mean, it was interesting. It's about this bounty hunter who is on Earth, and people have like migrated from Earth and they now live on Mars. And people who are from Mars have come, like androids have come from Mars, and they're living among humans. And it's illegal, so they have bounty hunters who hunt the androids and kill them. But they keep making better forms of androids, so it's harder for them to find out who the androids are. And so we follow a bounty hunter, and it's actually in the space of like a day or a day and a half. And it's him hunting down these 6 new versions of androids who have been hiding out. And no one has been able really to find them, because the test they use seems to be going obsolete, because it's harder and harder to find them. Anyway, it was an interesting book. I think I gave it like 3.5. I couldn't decide between 3.5 and 4 stars. Because it was very interesting, and it kind of made me think about a lot of different things. But it was also kind of confusing, and I'm not really sure that I loved my experience reading it, so it was kind of weird. So it's just kind of like, I think I still have to think about it before I decide exactly how I feel about it. And then after that, I went through my TBR just to kind of look, because technically my last prompt that I needed to do was read a book that is the same color, the cover is the same color of my birthstone. So like I said, I've been reading all books with red in them, because I kind of wanted to put that theme all the way through all of the books that I read. But then I needed a book actually for that prompt. So I was looking through my TBR, and I found War of the Worlds, which has a nice red cover. And so I decided, hey, why not try another science fiction? So I started that in the middle of my work day, and then listened to it on the way home when I drove home to my parents' house today to celebrate my dad's birthday. So I did finish it by the time I got to my parents' house. And I love this style of writing. And I don't know if I really understood it until I was actually listening to this book, which is kind of weird, but I love those stories where someone is like sitting down and writing the story right to me. So we have someone who has decided they're going to sit down and tell me a story of something that's happened to them and something that's going on, and they just sit and write to me and explain this whole story. It's the way Jane Eyre is written, and and Jane Eyre is probably my favorite book ever. It's really hard to say one book is my favorite book, but in a pinch, if I have to say, it's Jane Eyre. But that's how Jane Eyre is written. She sits down and tells you the story of her life. And I love that style of writing. It makes me feel like they're just sitting there talking straight to me. I feel like someone is telling me a story. They're sitting down and reading me a book. And I love that. And that's just the style that's probably one of my favorites. And that is how War of the Worlds is written as well. The person telling the story has decided to sit down and write their story. and that's super fun. And some of the ends of chapters, they do, H.G. Wells does a couple of things that I like a lot. Like, I don't like them overdone, but every once in a while I like it. So, for instance, he says, he was talking about in one chapter, he was talking about sitting down and eating dinner with his wife and stuff like that, and he gets to the end of the chapter and he's like, little did I know that was the last time I was gonna have a meal like that, for a long time. And sometimes that can get kind of corny and cheesy, but I think a couple of times is really kind of fun, because I'm like, ooh, something is gonna happen. And it's interesting to find out why that's gonna happen and what goes on. So I do like that. And H.G. Wells used that a few times throughout the book, which I kind of liked. The War of the Worlds is kind of a shorter book. If you guys don't know, it's about Martians come to Earth, and they have landed in England, and they are taking over, and they are killing everyone, and people don't know what to do. They're running away, and the Martians are taking over, and so it's pandemonium, and it's just kind of how these people are trying to cope with the Martians and how that happens. Interesting. I enjoyed it. I would like to read it again, I think, because I did enjoy it, but the story was okay. I don't know. I think I listened to it too quickly, which is kind of interesting. I had it going pretty fast. So I think I actually would like to re-listen to it and slow it down. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So that was my 7th book. So I've done all of the prompts. I read 7 books, and I still have a couple more days of the readathon, so I'm just going to keep reading. I might still kind of decide that I'm reading books with red in the cover. I don't know. There's not really any more prompts for me to do, so I think I'm just going to kind of read whatever I want. I started, for my ride home today, I started Persuasion by Jane Austen. Persuasion has always been one of Jane Austen's books that I almost forget about, which is interesting because I know a lot of people love Persuasion. So it's kind of been intriguing me. I think this is like probably my 3rd time reading Persuasion. And I just kind of want to, it's starting to become one that I like more, and I've been more intrigued about it lately. I've just been kind of thinking about it, so I wanted to read it again. So I listened to that on the way home back to my house today, and I'll probably listen to it tomorrow at work and everything like that too. So we'll see what other books I continue to read. I still do want to read Sandman. I just wasn't getting into it as quickly as I would have liked. I don't know if I'm in the mood for it yet, so I might not read that for a little while, but I definitely am still going to read it and definitely going to finish it. I'm just not sure yet. So, yeah, I'll keep you posted throughout the readathon. And there are a couple of things that Ariel and Raylene have done, like a few little, there is a kind of tag that I might do as well as a separate video. And I haven't really done the Instagram challenges or the vlog challenges, because I've kind of really just been concentrating on reading and vlogging as much as I do. I haven't done as much as I would usually do in a vlog, but I don't want to get like overwhelmed about trying to finish challenges and do things like that. But the tag is fun, so I will probably do a separate video of that tag that they did, and that will go up separately from my vlog. And yeah, I mean, I think that's about it for right now. I'm gonna go to bed because I've been getting a lot of sleep the last couple of days because I've been up reading. And work was a little rough today because I was so tired. So I don't want that to happen again tomorrow. So I will probably go to bed here very, very soon. I will catch you up tomorrow.
Who, weren't born. They're not like humans. They came from the ground. And it's so weird.
Well, it is super early in the morning. It's like 2 a.m. and I'm really tired. I don't know why I'm still awake. I'm at my parents' house. I don't really know what's going on. I'm so tired. Let me think here. Okay. So, last time we talked, I just got back from my parents' house again. I went on Thursday to celebrate my dad's birthday. So, it's Friday, so I'm back again. But, well, I guess it's Saturday. Oh my gosh, this is a trash fire. Okay, it's future Katie, because clearly past Katie is way too tired to make any sense. But, I went back on Friday for the normal weekend. My sister and I record music. My dad is a pastor, and my sister and I sing at church. But since the pandemic is going on, we're not doing a lot of that stuff. They just kind of started meeting again in the church, like social distancing and stuff, but we're not singing. So on Fridays I go back and my sister and I record music together, and so they can play it on Sundays. So that's what I was doing, and I was getting the videos together, and that's why I was staying up really late. So yeah, that's the explanation. I'll even put up some outtakes and a few clips from us recording so you can see. We get crazy, but whatever. And I just gotta tell you right now that I believe you believe that something's got a hold on me, yeah. I must be like, something's got a hold of me right now, child. I must be like, I'm feeling like it's so strange. Step by step, I gotta bring you up. I even sound sweeter when I talk. I said, oh, anyway, so I started Persuasion when I drove home from my parents' house on Thursday. I did end up finishing that earlier today. So that is book number 8. And like I said, I'm just going to start reading books that I kind of just want to read that are in my TBR. So I finished that. So clearly the end of the readathon is hard for me. Don't ask me why, but clearly it gets bad. I start off really well and then it just goes downhill. So I realized going through this that I never told you about Persuasion. And I pretty much explained pretty well the other books, but not Persuasion. So Persuasion is about a woman who is persuaded to not marry someone that she loves because he doesn't have a lot of money, and she is sensible, like she's the only sensible one in her family pretty much, and she's quite reserved and quiet and pretty much the smartest one, but the least important one, and her family doesn't really care about her. And her mother died, and her mother's best friend kind of took over the place of mother for her, and she's really the only one who wants the best for her and loves her even when things are kind of misguided. So she was actually one of the people who tried and succeeded in talking her out of marrying this man because he was not wealthy. So it has been 8 years. All of that like happens before the book starts. So it's been 8 years, and she is now a spinster. She's like 25 or 26. Yikes. So if I lived back then, I would be practically dead now. So anyway, this guy comes back into her life, and he now has rank and money, and he was in the Navy, and now he kind of just has his choice of anyone. And she is still pretty much living with her family, and no one is listening to her, and they don't really care about her unless they want her to do something. And she's kind of reflecting on her life and why this has happened, and if it might happen again, if she might get a second chance. And she's kind of forced to be in company with this man that she still loves, and he is wooing, as you will, someone else, other people. So she is kind of, in her own quiet way, very upset about this and not showing it outwardly because she knows that she lost her chance, and she understands that she should not have listened to her family when they tried to talk her out of marrying him. So she realizes her mistake, and now she has to deal with it, and she has to watch him be in the same company as her and pretty much enjoy everyone else's company and like everyone else, and kind of give her a little bit of the cold shoulder. So she has to kind of decide what's going to happen, and maybe she gets a second chance, maybe she doesn't. You should read it and find out. With this book, this is my fourth read, I think I said earlier, of this book, and before I never really loved it. Like, I didn't really like the characters too much, and I wasn't really sure kind of how I felt, but after this read, I loved it. So I don't know. I think this is just one that had to grow on me. I'm not really sure. Or if when I was reading it, I don't know. I have no idea why. This time it's like great, but I loved it. So my favorite Jane Austen book is probably a tie between Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice. And Sense and Sensibility might be outweighing Pride and Prejudice, which is crazy because I love Pride and Prejudice. Beside the point. But now Persuasion is right up there with the other two. I just really, really liked kind of the reflection that our main character does in her life and how it came to be where it is, and how she's accepted that, and kind of taken this role in her life, and it's definitely not turned out the way she thought it was, and her family, the rest of her family, has very high opinions of themselves, and they really shouldn't. And which, Jane Austen does this a lot with families. She kind of shows you exaggerated versions of people so that you know that she, in her own way, is essentially making fun of these people and showing you how ridiculous it is. And just kind of like, our main character's father loves beauty, so in any form. So if he sees a guy with gray hair or a few wrinkles, he's like, oh, he's way beneath me. Like, it doesn't matter if they have money or anything. He literally judges them by how they look. And the only person, like, she's the only one in her family. She has two other sisters. She's the only one in her family who is sensible. And to her immediate family, she means essentially nothing. And they never ask her opinion about anything. She's very smart. She could help out with with what is going on, but they never ask her because they don't believe that she has anything of value to add. So it's just interesting to see this person that everyone is kind of forgetting about and kind of puts down, but is a great caretaker. So if anyone needs anything, they're always like, oh, we can go here. Like, she will take care of it. It's fine. They only think of her when they need something, when there's a task or whatever that no one else wants to do. That's when they need her. It's a really good book. And it brought up a lot of things in how we think about our lives and how we see value in what we have and how we use that value and how other people use that value. And having someone who sees the real you and values the real you, and even if you are a wallflower, you still have value. And finding someone who sees that value when no one else does is priceless. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's why I love it. Because as someone who is a huge introvert and knows that I have some value, and have gone through a lot of people not seeing that, I think it's nice to have someone who sees that for our character. And I really like it. So I kind of have read it in a different light this time and really appreciated it and really loved it. And then I started the third Livia Lone book, which is by the same author as the John Rain book, so that I read for the readathon. And I've been reading the series in tandem. So the Livia Lone books are new. There's only 4 books in that series, and then in the John Rain series there are 10 books. But something happened, or like I read about something in the Livia Lone book today that spoiled the John Rain book, and I was so upset. It like spoiled that series, and it makes me really sad because it was a spoiler about a character who dies that I really like. So I was upset. And I realized like the John Rain books have been around for a little while and everything, but I just found them. So like I said, this is my 4th Livia Lone book, and I've read 3 John Rain books. So I'm like reading them very much in tandem. And so I just was really sad today that I got spoiled for something in the other series. And I feel like authors should watch out for that. Like, especially when they overlap. So, guys, I was just upset. I don't have much of that book left. I'm listening to it as well, so I think I only have like 2 hours left. So things have blown up. Like, I'm in the part of the book where everything has gone horribly wrong, and we really have no idea how it's going to end up, and like it could be bad. And I have no idea because this book just came out. Oh, maybe it's been either it was earlier this month or last July 2019. I don't remember. either way, there is not another book in this series. It's the last written book in this series, and I have no idea what is coming. I'm assuming he's still going to be writing more of these books, but I have no idea. So, technically, for all I know, she could die at the end of this book. I just don't know. Also, I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, I'm gonna finish my vlog here. I thought I would come back and do a quick wrap up. It is the last day of the readathon, and it is about 11 o'clock at night. And I read 9 books. So I did just pretty early this morning, probably like 1:30 in the morning this morning. I finished my Live Alone book, which was number 9. So I hit all of the prompts and I read 2 more books. So altogether, I really enjoyed the reading experience. I really liked all the books that I read. With one, I think I got a little too much into the I've got to finish this book really quickly and listen to it really on a quite a bit too fast reading speed. So that was War of the Worlds. I think I will probably reread it again because I did enjoy it, but I think I probably would like it a little better if I actually took a little more time to read it and everything like that. So I think I just, for a little bit of time during this readathon, I was like, I've got to read 7 books, and I'm a slow reader, so I have to have everything really quickly on my audiobooks. But after that, I was like, okay, you need to chill out. So I did do that. I didn't do any of the vlog prompts or the Instagram prompts at all, since I am working full-time and I need to go into the office and things like that. It was just harder to get all of the extra stuff done, but it was still super fun and I didn't stress myself out at all. Like, I've got to read 7 books and I'm a slow reader. And I really enjoyed all of it. So I hope you guys like the vlog, and for the first year doing the reading rush, it was super fun. So I look forward to it next year.